What if Captain Carter were the first Avenger? Hello, everybody. I'm Steve from VALHARTV, and today I'll be reviewing Marvel's What If Episode 1. This episode was directed by Brian Andrews, and Episode 1 takes us back to 1940s, where we see Steve Rogers getting ready to take the super soldier serum. And something happens that Peggy makes a choice to stay back in the room to watch instead of going up to the booth. And in doing so, she ends up taking the super soldier serum in place of Steve. Steve Rogers gets incapacitated, so she becomes the new Captain Carter. And we basically follow the events of Captain America, the first Avenger movie. But because it's only 30 minutes long, this episode, they have to condense a lot of it down. So we go from one event to another as we follow Captain Peggy as she's going through trying to stop Germany during World War II. And we even get to see Steve Rogers become the sidekick to her in a new toy that Howard Stark creates. So we really get to see the first prototype of this toy that we don't get to see until really, years after that. And each of the scenes they take are from the live action movie, which I thought was actually kind of cool. But they're altered in certain ways. And I thought that was even cooler because you see, because of that one choice, certain things start to play out. But what I didn't really like and think was very good is that they don't explain why everything starts to play out after that one choice. So because Peggy becomes Captain Carter, things start to play out, but they don't really tell you why certain events are completely changed versus others, So, for one example, Red Skull takes more than the Tesseract from the church. So we see the church scene where he's looking for the Tesseract in the live action, and he takes just that. In this, he keeps looking at something, and then he takes it with him on top of the Tesseract. So they don't explain why he does that. And they also don't really explain why Peggy Carter looks like a man. I mean, I understand that the super soldier serum made Steve Rogers grow to he's a 6-foot guy, I believe, or something like that in real life. But it made him taller, made him a little bit bigger. But he was more proportioned, you know what I mean, compared to Peggy's character in this. Peggy's character in this is even bigger than Steve Rogers' Captain America. And I thought that was very interesting, And they didn't really explain that, even though it's the new realistic female body type, Netflix and everybody else has been coming out saying. It's very unrealistic. She's huge. She's like a giant. That's kind of how she looks in quite a few of the scenes, which I thought was kind of weird looking. But this episode also, throws in a little cringe dialogue about women in that time period. And yes, I understand it was that time period, but they're putting the more modern spin on it, and I didn't really care for that because there was some cringe-worthy dialogue. But other than that, this whole thing was actually not a bad episode. The animation was good. I actually did like the animation, but it took a little getting used to. This animation style was a little weird. I didn't really get why, but it wasn't bad. I did actually like it. The voice acting I thought was really good because they got most of the cast to come back from the Avenger movie. So I really thought that was really good because it was really Peggy Carter. It was really Steve Rogers' voices. All of those guys, like most of them, pretty much came back for this whole thing. So the series is off to a decent start in this one, as the story wasn't really like hard to follow because we've already seen Captain America, the first Avenger. So we really get to, it's really just kind of a 30-minute recap of the whole thing with Captain Peggy in this instead. So it really wasn't that hard to follow, especially if you've already seen it. So each of these episodes are going to be based off of a movie. So you kind of have to see the movie in order to get what's going on in the the animated series. And they're only going to be 30 minutes long, so it's going to be a faster pace. They have to take an hour and a half, 2 hour movie and cram it into 30 minutes. So you're going to be missing certain elements, which you might, I kind of felt you kind of needed a little more context with this, but for being a 30 minutes, it's not bad. I actually did like this episode. It was a fun ride, and we get to see alternate versions of events based off of choices that people make. And that's what this What If is all about. Like the comic series was all about what if this happened instead of this. It's actually really good. And again, I would just like a little more explanation of why things actually played out the way they did more, other than she decided to stay in the room, and then apparently that changed everybody's behavior. Everybody was doing completely different things because of that one choice, but it wasn't really because of that one choice. It was because of other choices as well that they didn't explain. So I would give this at least a 7.5 out of 10. It wasn't a bad episode at all. It was a good start to the series. If you guys like what I do, please hit the like button and also subscribe, as I'll be doing more content. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Take care for now, everybody.